Hello again. Just wanted to post a response to your Ask Matt video blog. Particularly, you answered a question: how far can Hollywood take the comic book adaptations before it becomes too ridiculous? Have to say, for me this hits a little close to home. I've been a avid comic book reader all my life, so I have a feeling that I can comment on this with a pretty good understanding of the genre, the material. Big misconception here is that all comic books is stories about superheroes, stories about guys in tights and capes flying off to save the day. It's true, the superheroes will always be a mainstay of the comic book medium. And that's a good thing, honestly. We need that kind of thing in America, and around the world. You know, just like the ancient Greeks needed stories about Hercules, and you know, the Vikings had stories of Thor and such. We need that kind of a mythology, just, if for nothing else, for a diversion. But the point I'm trying to make here is that comic books are not just about superheroes. They're not just about the fantastical. They're also about the mundane, the ordinary, the regular day, everyday life. In fact, some very excellent movies have been made as adaptations of comic books. Mind you, in the crediting, they'll always call them graphic novels because, let's be honest, the mainstream population just doesn't want to hear the words comic book and, drama in the same context. My favorite example is The Road to Perdition. Excellent movie starring Tom Hanks about, a gangster father whose son finds out that he works, for the mob as a hitman. And it follows what happens to him and his son as that goes on. It's stories like these that really show where comics shine. It's in the adaptations of graphic novels such as A History of Violence, which was nominated for I believe 2 Academy Awards this year. The first being Best Adapted Screenplay. What do they call it now? Best Screenplay Writing from a Previously Produced Source, I think. Also, William Hurt was nominated for Best Actor in that same film. That was a adaptation of a graphic novel, a comic book. You mentioned Sin City. That's an excellent example. It's a crime story. It's an old film noir style book. I mean, it's not superheroes. It's it is fantastical in many of its stories, and it's very stylized, but it's not a superhero flick. It's a very gruesome crime flick. There are also other things coming up. There's horror genres, there's the drama, there's the crime movies, there's science fiction, there's the superhero, obviously. 2 upcoming movies I can think of. 30 Days of Night, which I believe will be starring Josh Hartnett, is currently in production. It's a, horror movie about a small town in Alaska, which for 30 days, it's night. The tilt of the earth is as such that they don't get sunlight for a full month. And a clan of vampires attacks the town. It's a horror movie. It's also a comic book. One that's also in talks is a science fiction movie. Well, it should be if it's properly adapted. It's based on the comic book miniseries We 3, which is about a government project to adapt household pets, of all things, into living tanks, basically. But in the end, it's really a really heart-filled story about these animals trying to get home. Basically the point is, don't judge comic books as all superheroes. Yes, you're always going to have Superman, you're always going to have Batman, you're always going to have Spider-Man. They're going to work if they're adapted right. Hollywood doesn't tend to understand that. A couple great examples are, one movie, which I love the book, and the movie was decent, but it wasn't, well, okay, decent by comic book movie standards. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. This is a movie that they completely missed the point. Now, if you've never read the book, it's okay. It's, you know, cheesy and all of that. But the book is a very hard-hitting, you know, it's a very involving book. It's, you know, very based on works of literature from the 1800s. It's set in the 1800s. It's a great example of where Hollywood completely missed the mark. You know, they try to make it into a superhero team flick like X-Men. Don't even get me started on the X-Men movies. They were pretty much all awful. That's you know, if Hollywood and the public at large tends to view comics as all superheroes, you miss the point. One adaptation, one sad story is the Hulk. I have to disagree with you on the Hulk. The problem with the Hulk isn't the movie, it was the attitudes people went into it with. Everybody was expecting, you know, Lou Ferrigno and the Bill Bixby, an adaptation of the old television show. Truth was that was not too close to the comic books. I mean, the idea, yeah, he gets angry, he becomes the Hulk. Yeah, that worked out at first. But it really, the Hulk is a story about a man with some serious mental problems that, you know, are compounded when he's in this horrific accident that makes him become the monstrous Hulk. You know, it splits the two parts of his personality, you know, in a way that's completely easy to misunderstand. Just looking for a way to end this. Best way to say it is, before you judge a comic book by its medium, read it. Make sure you're not thinking it's going to be a superhero flick when it's not featuring men in tights.